Today's broadcast is brought to you by Square Resources, major sponsor of the Men's Premier 1 team and the 2025 scoreboard sponsor. Square Resources supply raw materials globally, critical to the development of nations worldwide. Square Resources are committed to giving back to the communities in which they live and work and are a proud sponsor of the Fremantle Cockburn Hockey Club.
A very good afternoon from the Bateau Turf in Lakelands. Now, this is a game that everyone has been looking forward to because it is the penultimate round of the Hockey WA Men's Premier Grade, and it is first placed Fremantle Cockburn taking on second place Victoria Park. 1 point separating the two teams. Fremantle Cockburn on 45 points, Victoria Park on 44 points. Fremantle Cockburn having lost just one game all season. And if we look at the run that Victoria Park have had, they have been unbeaten in the last 10 games. So they've been all wins, and that's seen them climb up into second spot. So a winner today with one game to go could seal the championship for Fremantle Cockburn because they could be a point clear still at the top going into the last game. But if it's a draw, it's anyone's bet. And, of course, if Victoria Park win, they're going to have to go through to their last game and be unbeaten as well. Plenty to play for. We'll take a look at the team lineups. And, first of all, we'll look at the home side, Fremantle Cockburn Hockey Club. Well, I can tell you, out go Kieran Abbott, Gobi Gill, Salim Hasif, or Hasif Salim rather, and Bryson Sweetman. In comes Fraser Gilly. He's had a Mediterranean sojourn, and hopefully he'll be back tanned and ready to go. Matt Bird comes back in, which is a lot earlier than we expected to see him after his broken wrist. And also coming in as well is Fletcher Taylor, who was on duty playing for Western Australian country team. And also a late addition as well is going to be Jack Scott. Now turning our attention to Victoria Park, and there's a few changes for them as well. Out goes Aidan Lowe's, Bruce Weston and Charlie Hampson. In come the international players along with Kai Stirrett. So James Collins comes in, Kai Willett and Corey Weir, who were all involved in the games against India. And, of course, Victoria Park coached by Phil Hulbert, who has had success with the women's team, the Thundersticks women's team, and now he's seeking success with the men's team at Vic Park. And, of course, won 2 premierships himself as a player. My name's Ashley Morrison. Looking forward to sharing all of the action with you. And just looking at those umpires, I think they're different to the ones that were initially announced because it did say it was going to be Matt Claxton and Reece Young. And that certainly doesn't look like Matt Claxton on the far side. So we'll try and find out who the changes are. But should be an absolute belter of a game. There's no two ways about that. And really looking forward to this game. Certainly when you look at the lineup that they've got for Victoria Park, they've got 6 current or past Kookaburras in their lineup. And that obviously should mean that they have the upper hand or in a very strong position in this game. And there are just 4 current or ex-Kookaburras in the Fremantle Cockburn side. Now, I know some people have been saying that some of the international players haven't been shining in the local league as much as you would expect. But we'll see if that's the case today. Certainly there are players that we know can stand out. Victoria Park having to change their strip from their traditional black into the white strip. So you'll see some of their players wearing slightly different numbers to the numbers that they're used to wearing. And this was explained to us that the shirt sizes are slightly different. So some of them can't fit into the shirts when they change them to the alternate strip. So that's why they're wearing slightly different numbers. And I can tell you the umpires are, in fact, Tom Keating and Jordan Moore. So it was a change from what was listed before. And, of course, we wish them all the best as well. If we don't notice them, we know they've had a good game. Looks like it'll be Victoria Park to get us underway. Kai Willett standing over the ball. And this will be the big test, really, for Fremantle Cockburn, who've had a great season. Played 21, 13, drawn 6, just lost 1. So Willett plays it back to Jake Wetton. Wetton changes direction quickly and then goes back to Corey Ware. They'll look to just keep possession early on. Carried forward out of defence by Matt Dawson. A lovely pass that picked out Harley Muir. And edge of the circle, good work being done this time by Jake Wetton. Wetton going through a little gap, but it closed rapidly. And that's a great ball out of defence to find Aaron Hazel. Jack Welsh is coming up through the middle. Ware's backed off Hazel. Hazel trying to get inside the circle. Good stick work by Corey Ware. Got it down in front of his foot. So both teams starting briskly. Little miscontrol that time from James Collins. Turns it over. Tim Deven feeds it wide. Welsh with a chance. Welsh with a goal to open the scoring for the home side. The perfect start for the Magpies. Well, they will be very happy with that start. And it was just a turnover just outside the 23. And then Deven finding Welsh in space. And that makes it 1-0. And we've only had 2 minutes gone. So Vic Park will have to come from behind. And for those of you who weren't aware, when these two met at the beginning of the season, it was a 5-5 draw. So plenty of goals in that match. And I'm sure some people would be hoping that there'll be plenty of goals today as well. So Darryl McCormick throwing it forward. Desperation from Matt Bird. Harrison Keemer just beaten to the punch that time, and now it's Vic Park. Get a little bit of space to come forward. Harley Muir on the ball. Looking to shimmy one way, then the other. Garathabal sticks with him, though. Muir goes around the corner, feeds it to the edge of the circle, but Deven is there to tidy up again for Fremantle Cockburn. Hazel just lifting it over the stick. Good skills from him. He accelerates away this time. Really good running from him away from Jonah Pilati. Dawson came across. Pilati's beaten again and brings Hazel down. It'll be a free hit, edge of the circle. Aaron Hazel falling fairly heavily. Credit, though, to Jonah Pilati. Got back pretty quickly after being beaten by Hazel. Dawson, great tackle to take it away from Welsh. Fed down the line, and it's just gone over on the halfway line. Taken quickly by Garathabal. Darryl McCormick searching for a second elusive premiership if he can get it. Was captain when Fremantle Cockburn last won in 2006. Would love another one before he maybe, I don't think he'll ever retire, Darryl McCormick. He'll maybe just step down a little bit. James Collins now bursting forward. Followed all the way by Deven. Cuts inside. Deven ran across and cut him off. Happy to concede the free hit. Harley Muir over the ball. Takes it quickly. Self-passes. Squares it at the top of the circle. Trying to just dink that one into the D. It was a good pass in the end by Kai Stirrett. Temby couldn't get it on his stick cleanly, so Hazel picks it up. Great run by Angwin into the circle, but that's gone over his head. Well, Rhys Angwin, that would have been some goal. He launched himself into the air. And for a little man, he got a long way up. But he was still probably about a metre off from the ball. That's the commitment you see from these players. Rhys Angwin, of course, who celebrated a 400th game a couple of weeks ago in the Premier League. Wetton brings that one down into the circle. Did he find a foot? No. It's a clean ball, looking to carry it out. Wetton gets there again. Strong tackling from Fraser Gilly. Fraser Gilly, who had planned a trip for a while, actually, to the Mediterranean and Europe, and had told David John at the beginning of the season he was going away, and was happy to sit down and not play in the Premier Grade this season, but then he's played a major part and they let him go, and hopefully he's going to come back refreshed for the finals. Good work by Garathabal. Welsh got a very good touch, trying to feed it through to Fraser Gilly. He's lost out now. Chance to break forward for Patton Williams. Lawson Patton Williams into the circle, lays it back. It's deflected towards goal. Rennie, sharp save, and I think McCormack may have actually got the touch in front of Rennie. Garathabal, his stick was caught that time. So it will be Fremantle Cockburn's ball. Ben O'Grady just calming things down. Gilly Closed down again by Patton Williams. But it will be Fraser Gillies' free hit. 5 minutes gone in this top of the table clash in the penultimate round of the regular season. Oh, just lost that for a second, Jonah Pilati, and it dribbled back, but he recovered well. Jonah Pilati went to Como Primary School. He's apparently a very talented footballer and cricketer as well. When I say footballer, AFL I'm talking about. Jake Wetton, that one just coming off the stick of Chad Giles. Pilati again goes back to Corey Weir. Weir flicks it diagonally into the circle. Brought down, edge of the D. Oh, great pass. Rennie comes out. And it was a great save to deny Kai Willett. Penalty corner, though, goes the way of Victoria Park. And this could be a bit of a test now for the Fremantle Cockburn defence. Victoria Park have scored a mountain of goals, 79 goals this season. And they've had 16 scorers. So they've spread the goals around. So Collins will make his way to the baseline. Matt Dawson lines up. Dawson has been scoring from penalty corners. Corey Weir is alongside him. So Corey Weir at the first battery. Matt Dawson at the second. Dawson has scored 9 goals this season. And they go to Corey Weir. It's not the best of traps at the top of the circle, but Wetton's recovered well. What an effort. Well, Jake Wetton just got inside the circle, arrowed that down low to Ben Rennie's right-hand side, but it was just wide of the post. And I mentioned Matt Dawson. I was talking to someone from the club, Victoria Park, in the week, and they were saying how he's really enjoying his hockey now. He's no longer obviously involved with the Kookaburras, announced his retirement, and is now just playing for the fun of it and doesn't have the daily grind of going to training at 6 in the morning, and is enjoying just spending time. And this will be his last season as he's heading back to New South Wales next year, his home state. But he's been a great servant to Victoria Park. Darren McCormick wanting someone to come near him. No one did, so has to carry it forward. It's going to be closed down. Squeezed it forward that time, looking for the run of Jack Scott. And a mistake forced by good pressure again from Aaron Hazel. Those are the little things that some of the players from Fremantle Cockburn have done really well this year, is just apply pressure on their opposition and force them to make the mistakes. Chad Giles going to leave the ball as Garathabal just comes in shot for you. In the shadows, he self-passes, walks out into the sunshine, then accelerates away. Matt Bird wide on the right-hand side. Ben O'Grady trying to fire it in. That's a brilliant steal, and look at the acceleration out of defence from Jake Wetton. Oh, and a heavy fall on the far side. I think that's, is it Temby or Batistessa? I think it was Temby, I think. Oh, anyway, play continues. No, it was Batistessa. I was right the first time. Looking like Wolverine these days. Will Batistessa. Dawson plays it down the line. And straight out of play it goes. We've got 2 balls on the pitch now. Just played calmly over the side by Joel Carruthers. Carruthers. Carruthers it is, not Carruthers. Dawson slamming that one forward. It was a good block from Jazz Henry. Deven strong on the ball, really just turning his body and not allowing Kai Stirrer to look at it. Deven now squeezes a diagonal pass to Rhys Angwin, but it was just a little bit too far away from him, and so the heavy touch goes over the baseline. Temby will be the man to come across and play the ball out from the back. Hazel goes in chase. Temby carries it over the 23. Pushes it out onto the left-hand side. Gets the return pass. Closed down again by Jazz Henry. And over the side it goes. So it's going to be Fremantle Cockburn's ball. We've got 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Ben O'Grady squares it to Daryl McCormick. Garathabal is wide on the left-hand side, just up the side if McCormick wants to use him, and he does. Garathabal feeds it in. Hazel, it was a tricky ball on the backhand, but as he was closed down, great awareness again to let Jeremy Pilati play it over the side rather than Hazel having to play it at all. Hazel shaped as if he was going to lift it, then played it flat along the turf to Rhys Angwin, but stolen back by Vic Park, and unfortunately couldn't keep that one in play. So Garathabal again. Whether that was stopped, I'm not sure, but a chance to play on. Stirrett feeds it forward now. Good pass by him, finds Willett. Willett weaving his body back to Stirrett. Oh, what a finish! Kai Stirrett with a wonderful finish, combining well with Kai Willett. That was a superbly crafted goal, and you could say it was okay for Victoria Park. The two Kais combining. But it was a great intercept by Stirrett, feeding it to Willett, and then a wonderful finish by Kai Stirrett. So 10th minute, we're level at 1 apiece. Aaron Hazel hasn't got a goal as yet, but he's scored in 5 consecutive games against Victoria Park. A little coming together there, and Jack Welsh, a little bit ginger on his ankle, has gone straight over the side, maybe to put a bit of ice on that. Jeremy Pilati pulling away from Hazel. Hazel got a touch, but the ball went up into the body of Angwin as he tried to get it under control. So Jonah Pilati leaves it for his brother, Jeremy. And then he gives it straight back to him over the top. Well, O'Grady came running in. He intercepted that. I would have thought that the rule is you're allowed to do that as long as you make sure you get the ball. And that's exactly what Ben O'Grady was questioning the umpire about, because there was no doubt Jonah Pilati was underneath the ball. But the player now is allowed to come in that space as long as they intercept it. And a penalty corner given. Fremantle Cockburn player alleged to have not been 5 metres. So second penalty corner now for Victoria Park. You might remember the first one was a mistrap at the top of the circle. Wetton recovered well, though, and still managed to get a shot away. Just over 3.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Really good chance for Victoria Park to steal the lead going into the first break. Collins again makes his way to the baseline. Dawson is now at the first battery. And lining up at the second is Jonah Pilati. Dawson leaning on his stick. He looks like he's the man they're going to go to. Certainly there's looks to be more intent in his body language than Pilati. Now he shifts to the second battery, slips it back. Oh, what wonderful defending that time. That was superb by McCormick. It's going to be a free hit to Victoria Park out wide on the left-hand side. And Fremantle Cockburn have organised themselves pretty quickly. Harrison Banyard again, causing nuisance value. Comes wide again to Jonah Pilati. Angwin closes him down, so he goes back to Isaac Temby. Battistessa now on the left-hand side. Ball fed forward. It's a good pass. Good work by Harrison Keema. Lovely tackle by Keema too. And he'll clean it up again. He's put under pressure. Brilliant steal, though, by Battistessa. And the free hit is going to go the way of Fremantle Cockburn. Battistessa not happy. Well, Battistessa, who used to be, of course, with old Guildford Mundaring, has had a couple of seasons where he was struggling with injuries, and it was such a shame because he's such a wonderful player. Hazel now. Good block again from Dawson, combining with Battistessa. Now a chance to come forward. Harley Muir feeding it wide. It will be picked up by Stirrett. Stirrett, the goal scorer for Victoria Park, gets inside the circle. He's going towards the baseline, but wonderful defence again by McCormick. Ball was lifted high. Fremantle Cockburn asking for a free out, not given by the umpire. Certainly looked as if it was lifted above the knee, and that's what I think they were saying. Devon, first time's it, but stepping out was Corey Weir. Just got there ahead of Fletcher Taylor, and top of the circle, that'll be a penalty corner, well won by Lawson Patton Williams. So penalty corner number 3 for Victoria Park. And we have just under 2 minutes left now in the first quarter. Lawson Patton Williams, who product of the Peel hockey region, which is about, for those of you watching interstate or overseas, about an hour and a bit south of Perth. Comes from Hall's Head. So Dawson again gone to the second battery. Corey Weir is at the first. Alongside him is Kai Willett. Ben Rennie just getting his defence organised. Tim Devon taking his time, just making sure his gloves are on. Steps behind the line now. So Dawson, but instead they go to Willett, and it's a good deflection again off the first runner, which is Darryl McCormick. And the oldest player out there, Darryl McCormick, but certainly showing he's still got plenty of pace. Good work going wide again. That was Kai Willett. Willett inside the circle, tries to get it across. Jazz Henry cleans up, trying to play the short pass to Harrison Kima, who apologises he didn't get his stick on that. So Vic Park keep the pressure on, thrown to the air. Dawson brings it down, top of the circle. Angwin, well, he was standing his ground, but he wasn't 5 metres away. He's allowed to go forward once the player touches it, but he stood there and he wasn't 5 metres away to move into that space. Deflection was a good one that time from Harley Muir, but it's going to be a 16 to Fremantle Cockburn. In fact, no, if they changed it now that it's going to be a long corner, it is indeed. So the umpires combining. Jake Wetton thought about going to Corey Weir, then went to Temby on the left-hand side. In it comes from Temby. Great work again into the side netting, though, from Kai Willett. Was a very acute angle to try and beat a man like Ben Rennie. And the worrying thing is McCormack is in a little bit of trouble there, Darryl McCormick. Just struggling, whether he's just got a blow on the calf or whatever, but he will try and run through the paint, and probably the first break couldn't come at a better time. 39 seconds to go. Ben O'Grady waiting for the whistle to be blown. McCormack is stopped, limping now, and comes across to take the free hit. He's being closed off, has to self-pass, manages to get it to O'Grady. O'Grady carries it forward. And Ben O'Grady, of course, celebrating this week, being picked up in Hockey 1 by Adelaide Fire, and that's a really good acquisition, in my opinion, for the South Australian side. Because I think Ben O'Grady's been one of the top players in the competition this year. And the hooter has gone, and that is the end of the first quarter. In fact, it hasn't gone, but they were all walking off, waiting for it to come. But what a start we've seen. Jack Welsh opening the scoring after a good pass by Tim Devon, and then Kai Stirrett and Kai Willett combining well to get an equaliser in the 10th minute. Means at the first break, it is Fremantle Cockburn 1, Victoria Park 1.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Square Resources, major sponsor of the Men's Premier 1 team and the 2025 scoreboard sponsor. Square Resources supply raw materials globally, critical to the development of nations worldwide. Square Resources are committed to giving back to the communities in which they live and work, and are a proud sponsor of the Fremantle Cockburn Hockey Club.
Well, the Fremantle Cockburn players listening to David John in the cap and the sunglasses. He's been really big on discipline and sticking to the game plan all year, and it's paid dividends. And I'm sure his heart will be going a little bit during this game. Would love them to win the minor premiership. David John, of course, was involved with the Hockey India League as the strategy director for the Vedanta Kalinga Lancers, who I think most people would say were the most entertaining side within the Hockey India League, but unfortunately just conceded too many goals to make the finals. The players coming back out, and so too the Ball Patrol kids, and we'd like to thank Costa Wellgrown for their support in the clothing of the Ball Patrol kids and the ground control team, as well as the junior umpire mentors. Fremantle Cockburn Hockey Club says thank you, Costa. Always well grown at the Magpies. So it's been pretty even so far. Will we see someone take the lead before half-time and hold on to it? Kai Willett again waits over the ball. A little bit of banter. Not sure who it's between, whether it's between him and Aaron Hazel. Played back again to Matt Dawson this time. Trying to turn is Harley Muir. Got the pass out wide to Pilati. Banyard came in, but it's going to be a free hit where Pilati was fouled. That's a good 3 or 4 metres further forward from where it occurred, but umpire's happy. Dawson, into the circle it goes. Wetton on the turn. Ben Rennie makes a good save with his right foot. Obviously would have trained with Wetton a lot when Ben Rennie was part of the Kookaburra squad. Turning his Banyard on the far side. Gets a free hit for his side. Matt Bird comes forward. Matt Bird, good to see him back, but obviously at the moment we're seeing him playing in a wider role rather than through the middle, which we're used to. Garathabal just dinking it onto the foot of Kai Willett. Juan Garathabal goes back to McCormick again. McCormick, not many options on. It's ricocheted up. Dawson first times it. His mum would be proud of that. Former international cricketer Trish Dawson. Wetton. Oh, that was a lovely pass to Willett. And taking a tumble. Off the pads it goes again. Strong from O'Grady. And slow to get to his feet. Is that Wetton that took the fall? Or I can't see who it is at the moment. No, it's Willett. Thought it was Kai Willett at the time. To be fair, there were no appeals from the Victoria Park players wanting a penalty corner. I think they just saw it as 2 players just coming together. And it's always good when you don't see players trying to sway the umpires. So it'll be Fremantle Cockburn ball from the side. Ben O'Grady over the ball. Goes across the face of goal to Darryl McCormick. Juan Garathabal closed down again by Willett. Willett got a touch. Garathabal still has possession, but he's getting closed down. Needs to hurry. Slipped there with his foot. Stolen away. Good work by Lawson Patton-Williams. It's Willett now. Skips past Deven. Willett inside the circle along the baseline. Looked to pull it back. Missed Patton-Williams, but Weir's got it. Nice ball too on the outside. It came to James Collins, and Collins wins the penalty corner for Victoria Park. So that is penalty corner number 4 for Victoria Park. So far, Ben Rennie, I think, has only had 1 save to make. Darryl McCormick has done well as the first runner. Matt Bird is not going to be part of the defensive duties this time around. He's come out, not surprisingly. He's got a broken wrist and he's wearing a massive glove on his right arm. So Corey Weir again is at the first battery. Matt Dawson is at the second. Muir stopping for Dawson. Wetton stopping for Weir. They go to Dawson and gets a mistrap again, trying to try a different variation that time with Lawson Patton-Williams trying to deflect it in, and then the shot comes in, but it goes over the crossbar. So I'm not quite sure that that all worked as well as it was hoping. I have to say, when that was injected, I thought it might have just touched the foot of Matt Dawson at the top of the circle. When it was trapped poorly, it just looked like it rolled into his foot, and then he stepped away and got the ball into the circle. But I might be wrong. I'm a fair way away. The umpire's a lot closer. But cleared by Fremantle Cockburn. Anywhere would do, I think, at that point. Pilati. It's Jonah Pilati. And Hazel got a touch. Dawson will play it in from the side. Hazel comes goal side. Dawson lifts it high and long, brought down by Willett. Well, that's a rule I think that is ridiculous. If the player can't control it and it goes towards a defender, then the defender should be allowed to play it. That's not the umpire, that's the rule makers. You're getting rewarded for a bad piece of skill. So free hit though to Victoria Park. Wetton goes to Weir again. On the outside it goes. It's a good pass to Jeremy Pilati. And a long corner won by him. Corey Weir takes it quickly, self-passes, plays it in. The deflection is there. Well, I think that's Willett who gets the touch again. So Victoria Park have taken the lead. Well, that was a good ball in again by Corey Weir. So Kai Willett made up the first goal and looks as if he has scored the second for Victoria Park in the 19th minute. So Fremantle now are going to have to come from behind. Now the crowd haven't exactly gone quiet here. They've just gone, well, there's a lot of mumbling. There's that hubbub you get in a theatre before the play begins. And that's a push by Angwin. Well, needs to be careful. Rhys Angwin, he clearly showing Pilati to get out of his way, but you shouldn't really be raising your arms up like that. Bird now on the ball for Fremantle Cockburn. Wins a long corner. Ball comes back to Devon, who wants to get on with things quickly. Harrison Keem, a heavy touch from him. He's surrounded, loses out, and Dawson carries it forward. Good ball by Dawson and played well as it comes wide again. This time it's Lawson Patton-Williams, tries to play it in. Good covering play again from Darryl McCormick. It was Curtis Skaney who was combining well through the midfield with Dawson. It's another long corner. Corey Weir, well, he's touched that, so back it goes now to James Collins. Collins has to go infield. And Angwin just clipping him. To be fair, he did apologise, Rhys Angwin. I don't think it was intentional, or if it was, he disguised it very well. What a deflection that was, and a brilliant save by Ben Rennie to keep the ball out and stop Corey Weir getting a third for Victoria Park. Weir jogs back, big smile on his face, but that was good. He ghosted in round the back along the baseline and was found well by Dawson, and a good deflection, but Rennie alert to the danger. Devon in a battle with Collins, and Devon felt the free hit was his. Well, that was not taken where the free hit was, and it was behind where it was. So again, it's one of those, did the team gain an advantage? Umpire felt so. Corey Weir spins into the circle, it goes. Good defence, though, from Ben O'Grady. He carries it out of the circle, goes wide, feeds it forward to Jazz Henry. Henry beats one. Beat Corey Weir. Henry still going. Down the side it goes, and it's still with Fremantle Cockburn, and eventually Dawson came across. Short pass, managed to find Batistessa. It's Collins on the ball now. He comes across to Pilati. Feeds it in turn now to Curtis Skaney. Oh, what wonderful tackle coming across that time from Fletcher Taylor. Oh, and Wetton just going through the back of Taylor. Umpire seeing nothing wrong with that one. And Batistessa, the player, moving inside the circle as it was thrown into the deep, and therefore defensive ball. Well, nobody on that line for Fremantle Cockburn. So it goes harmlessly out of play. We're approaching the halfway stage of the second quarter. Victoria Park Panthers having taken the lead. Dawson over the ball. He's certainly shown how much pace he's got through the middle of the park, and also what a great eye he's got. Oh, dear me. Missed trap that time by Pilati, and a few words, I think, said by Fletcher Taylor. Pilati managing to smile at whatever it was Fletcher Taylor said as he ran past him. Ben O'Grady. Garathabal goes up the line. O'Grady carries it over halfway. Good covering play by Batistessa, and they've won the ball back now. And it's a good pass this time by Jonah Pilati. Pilati feeding Crothers. Crothers into the circle. Did well to evade the defender. Good covering play by Chad Giles. And in the end, Crothers is the player penalised. Joel Crothers, Wesley College student. That was a brilliant bit of skill by him at the top of the circle. The ball coming back now to Darryl McCormick, who you would think would just want to slow the pace down because Victoria Park playing at a helter-skelter pace. Battistessa will be penalised for the challenge on Deven and helps him up. Bit of respect from Battistessa helping the old man up. Jazz Henry comes back to Chad Giles. Giles just lost it for a second on his own feet. Again played on quickly. Battistessa lifted it up. Deven, what a tussle those two are having. And got the better of O'Grady that time and across the face a goal. Good save by Ben Rennie. Chance to shoot on the turn was a good one. That was Isaac Temby who got forward, but it's going to be clear for Fremantle Cockburn. This is a real test for both these teams with finals just 2 weeks away. Garathabal. Down the line he goes. Hazelett just kicked off the turf and ran away from him. Dawson first time to Weir. Weir feeding it through the midfield to Wetton. Stolen away by Jazz Henry. Good intervention by him. Now Garathabal gets it back and it's Battistessa who's penalised for another foul and says take it back where it was. Now Battistessa, I think, is just going to have to watch it because he's committed about 3 or 4 fouls in the last few minutes and maybe a green card imminent if he commits another couple in quick succession. Corey Weir lost that through his feet, and was there an obstruction? I think Hazel felt there was. Certainly he wasn't able to get a clean side of the ball or be able to play it. Infield it goes to Dawson. Wetton now on halfway. Lots of space ahead of him. Henry comes across. Wetton thought about going with the tomahawk. Fed it down the line instead. Into the circle it goes. Good reach from Ben O'Grady. And it's Henry who will get that one. Feeds it out wide. Chad Giles now beats one. Can't get the better of Wetton though. Wetton feeds it infield. Stolen away again by Deven. Got it off Harley Muir. Muir lost his stick. Now Deven was closed down. And, well, the Vic Park player giving the umpire a bit of a raspberry there. Wasn't happy that the decision had gone against them. But it's Hazel now trying to find a way into the circle past Corey Weir. Coming back is Dawson. Hazel got the better and then was... well, he was clearly impeded. And we are going to see a card issued. I think it's Harley Muir who's got the card. And that, I would think, was for the verbals that were shouted. Well, it was surely right down by the corner, the offence. Because Hazel was never up there. And that looked like it caught the foot, I have to say, of Temby, but no appeals from the Fremantle Cockburn players. Mitch Nicholson relieved to have kept that one out. So the big question is, with just under 4 minutes left in this first half, are Victoria Park going to still throw numbers forward while they're a player down? The answer to that was yes. Curtis Scaney trying to get on the end of the long overhead thrown by Matt Dawson. Chad Giles now on the right-hand side, feeds it up the line. Just dropped back that time by Jack Scott. And too narrow from Giles, and over the side it went, much to the frustration of Jazz Henry. So it'll be a Victoria Park ball from the side. Collins goes back to Jeremy Pilati, and now it's Dawson. Jeremy Pilati again. Nice turn coming from James Collins. Oh, Henry. Yeah, okay. I think few people in the crowd are surprised that there was no whistle for that, but decision going the home side's way. Deven wanting a free hit then, and, well, that looked dangerous the way it was thrown in the air. Certainly Kai Willett got away with that. Deven is in the corner again. He gets inside the circle. Willett, lovely tackle. Managed to get the ball away and find Jeremy Pilati, who's kept it in play as he got it to Collins. Stolen away again, though, by Fremantle Cockburn. Into the circle it went. And desperately trying to get on the end of that was Rhys Angwin. It's going to be a free hit, though, to Fremantle Cockburn, just on the edge of the circle. Aaron Hazel moves it about a metre. Now it's gone the required 5. Drilled in. Top of the circle, Garathabal. Well, Fremantle Cockburn were convinced they'd won a penalty corner. Tom Keating was not convinced. Batistessa now feeding it forward. Good lead again from Muir. McCormick got there first. Muir stands in front of him and takes the deflection and puts it over the side. Minute and a half left in the first half. Victoria Park trying to continue their run of 10 unbeaten games and to go top of the ladder if they win here today. Oh, a lovely dummy from Angwin, but there was no one behind. He thought Welsh was the player calling, I think. And Welsh was statuesque, let's say, in the middle of the field. Goes back again to Jonah Pilati, to his brother. Oh, what a pass that was to Wetton. Received it superbly, and his pass to Muir is equally as good. Garathabal. Well, Muir just lifting it up over the stick. And their whistle going. It'll be a free out to Fremantle Cockburn with under a minute remaining in the first half. Fremantle Cockburn maybe just happy to go in with the 1 goal deficit to regroup and come out roaring in the third quarter. Hazel brings it down on halfway. Pilati just bounces off Hazel. Hazel, it's a low trajectory. Temby, well, he didn't control that. It went into the body of Angwin, so it'll be a free hit to Fremantle Cockburn. And slipping was Bird. Not sure they're going to have time to take it. They've only got 13 seconds. Maybe they will. Comes back to Ben O'Grady. Slides it into the circle. Well read again by Dawson. Feeds it forward to Willett. Willett now 1-on-2. Willett, oh, what? O'Grady got a touch. Willett's still there. Spins away from O'Grady, but the hooter goes, and that is the end of the first half. And what a game it's been, as you would expect, between the top 2 teams in the league. And just the 1 goal in that quarter. Kai Willett scoring a crucial goal for Victoria Park that gives them the lead heading into half-time. Fremantle Cockburn 1, Victoria Park 2.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Square Resources, major sponsor of the Men's Premier 1 team and the 2025 scoreboard sponsor. Square Resources supply raw materials globally, critical to the development of nations worldwide. Square Resources are committed to giving back to the communities in which they live and work and are a proud sponsor of the Fremantle Cockburn Hockey Club.
Well, half-time here, and as we see regularly, Fremantle splitting up into the defenders all together and then the attackers all together as well. One huddle for Victoria Park as they gather around Phil Hulbert. And just to give you an idea, at home here since Fremantle Cockburn moved to the Bateau turf, these 2 teams have met 5 times, and Victoria Park have won 2. Fremantle Cockburn have won 1, and there have been 2 draws. So you can read into that what you may. There's not much to choose between the two teams, in that Fremantle Cockburn have scored 9 goals in those games, and Victoria Park have scored 11 at an average of 4 goals a game. Well, we've got 3 so far. We're only 1 goal away from that. And will it be a 3rd draw in this game? Have to wait and see. And I can tell you, in overall games going back to 2017, they're averaging 4.3. So fairly consistent in terms of the amount of goals scored when these two meet. Victoria Park, I think, will feel that they are in the box seat. Certainly, if you looked at the international players they've got in their lineup, they've been combining superbly. Matt Dawson, Jake Wetton, Kai Willett, and you'd have to say Collins as well in there as being contributing, Corey Weir as well. But it's just going to take a little bit of cohesion from Fremantle Cockburn in this 3rd quarter. 3rd quarter is the crucial one, you feel. If you can lift and get the goals in this one and take control of the match heading into the final quarter. And we've been fortunate to be down here broadcasting many of Fremantle Cockburn's games this year, and I'd like to thank the club for allowing us to do that, and also Square Resources, who are the main sponsor of the broadcast, for making it possible. And we will be here next week for the Reds game, the final league match of the season, and also we will be covering the women's game to see if Fremantle women can earn promotion to the Premier League. And I think if they do, there'll be a few celebrations next weekend. The Victoria Park players splitting up from their group. And I'm sure they will be very happy with the position they find themselves in. Played 21-14, so they've won more than Fremantle Cockburn, but it's the draws. They've only had 2 draws to Fremantle Cockburn's 6. And they lost 4 games as well inside the season, whereas Fremantle Cockburn have just lost 1 game all season. Will this be their 2nd loss of the season? They've shown great spirit to get themselves out of jail several times this season, and they're going to need that spirit now in this game. Aaron Hazel stands over the ball. Aaron Hazel, man from Tamworth, who was the Youth Sports Star of the Year in Tamworth in 2016. Goes back to Tim Deven, the Tasmanian, to the Irishman Ben O'Grady, to the Australian Matt Bird, the West Australian. Harrison Keemer, who's had to adapt and come back and play in a defensive role. So Matt Bird now goes back to O'Grady. No penalty corners yet for Fremantle Cockburn. I'm sure they would love one, because they've got O'Grady and they've got Jack Welsh. Although we haven't seen Welsh out there since he got that little blow on his ankle. I'm just wondering whether that was a little bit more serious than it looked at first. It was a good idea that time from Fletcher Taylor, but unfortunately didn't manage to come off. Wasn't able to keep it in play. Matt Dawson takes a touch. Will probably flick it in the air. He does, just dink it over the top. It's brought down well by Kai Willett, but he goes out of play. Deven just standing like a wall in front of Willett. Deven goes to the air. Dawson comes across. And this time he intercepts and he gets the free hit. And that's where players get frustrated. If you blow it one way one time and you blow it a different way the next time. Because Dawson ran in, jumped in front of the player that was underneath the ball and stole it, and he got the free hit. That looked like a backstick to me from Harley Muir, but if it wasn't, it was a good bit of skill by him. Muir still battling away on the far side, stolen away from him by Angwin. Garathobal. Pursued by Wetton, the two sevens going head and head to head. Banyard. Banyard was put under pressure by Dawson, apologised to his teammates for giving up the free hit just on the 23-metre line. Harley Muir, I think, has taken it from outside when it should have been in. Dawson, well, again, the question was the ball stopped. Hazel gets a touch, strong from Temby. Hazel did well to get the ball forward to Harrison Keeman. There's a bit off the ball between Hazel and Temby, and Hazel, you'd have to say, came out on top because he has the ball now, and he got it in space. Devon has to stretch. Gets it at the second attempt, pushes it wide now to Garathabal on halfway. Garathabal immediately just turned away to retain possession, goes back to Daryl McCormick, and they will try and build from the back. O'Grady, and that's, well, did that hit the body? Sliding across was Kai Stewart. How he didn't let that hit his body was quite amazing. And that, I don't think, has gone quite where James Collins was hoping. Got caught in the hook of his stick and just went probably several metres higher than intended. So McCormick over the ball again. Goes square to Ben O'Grady. Garathabal closed down by Muir but cuts infield. Garathabal decides to go back again to O'Grady. Pressure being applied by Patton Williams. Devon. O'Grady is square. Devon feeds it into a gap to Harrison Keemer. Keemer now feeds Bird. Bird has Hazel to his right. Matt Bird into the circle. What a pass that was to Banyard. And it was almost Angwin who got the shot away, but it was really good movement by Fremantle Cockburn. Slick passing. So Dawson taking his time. Diagonal pass collected by Temby, fed forward now to Curtis Skaney, but he couldn't get it on his stick. So it'll be a turnover as we enter the 5th minute of the second half. O'Grady to Garathabal. Cuts infield. Hits that one on the run. It's going to go nicely all the way through to Rhys Angwin. Angwin tries to find Hazel. Hazel into the circle. Hazel still going and appeals for a penalty corner. And I'm not sure whether it was Dawson or Jonah Pilati that committed the foul, but the umpire whistled, the arms came out, and it's a penalty corner, the first penalty corner of the match for Fremantle Cockburn. And once again, just like to acknowledge Square Resources, major sponsor of the men's Premier 1 team and the 2025 scoreboard sponsor. They supply raw materials globally critical to the development of nations worldwide and are committed to giving back to the communities in which they live and work, and a proud sponsor of Fremantle Cockburn Hockey Club. So Rhys Angwin goes to the baseline. Aaron Hazel measures out his run at the first battery. Ben O'Grady just stands at the second battery, now leans on his stick. His trusty Grey's weapon. Can Hazel pull Fremantle level? Will it be O'Grady? It went up in the air into the body of Devon. So the first penalty corner, just as it was for Victoria Park, not executed to perfection. And it's great to see on the far side, climbing the fence, 3 young boys watching on outside the venue. Kai Willett pulling away, and Chad Giles will be penalised for that. Probably will get a card. He does indeed. I think Giles is saying that Willett was using his body to prevent him being allowed to make a tackle, but it was a clumsy tackle nonetheless. And it took the legs of Willett away. So O'Grady over the ball. Again, Willett, was he 5 metres? Banyard's done very well to get the better of Wetton that time. Banyard again, and he will get the free hit on halfway. O'Grady comes forward. Banyard has to get out of his way. And again, Willett is again about 2 or 3 metres away. I suppose if it's not going to get pulled up, you may as well keep doing it. Willett gets it away from Devon that time, caught the foot of Devon. Willett plays on quickly, Wetton, brilliant trap on the reverse. Feeds it to Battistessa, top of the circle. Garathabal got a touch, back to Battistessa, brilliant save, Ben Rennie at his near post. Battistessa took that first time. It's going to be a long corner, James Collins over the ball. Victoria Park would love another one. Jonah Pilati drilled that one at O'Grady. Banyard got there. Wetton strikes, and it's wide. Rennie watching it all of the way. Garathabal. Oh dear, turned that one over cheaply. He's had to fight to get it back. And now that's, well, surely... Well, and that's, I think, what some players are saying to the umpire. Well, Giles got a card for a similar challenge, reaching across the player. Hazel drilling that one towards the top of the circle. Dawson collected it well, took a touch, and then managed to find Collins. Collins feeds it to Wetton now. Wetton's accelerating away, chased by Harrison Keemer. Feeds it top of the circle. What a pass by Wetton. Trying to get through, but couldn't, was Lawson Patton Williams. And a brilliant tackle inside the circle. Willett now out wide for Victoria Park. Comes back to Collins. Collins lifts it across the circle. Brought down by Pilati. Up it goes, Rennie. Well, danger is the call from the umpire. So, 5th penalty corner now of the game for Victoria Park. Once again, James Collins strolls down to the baseline. Made his international debut against Malaysia back in April 2022. Started at the age of 6. And once again, we've got at the top of the circle, Matt Dawson at the first battery. Corey Weir at the second. Ben Rennie in goal for Fremantle Cockburn. Goes to Weir. Good save by Rennie. And Wetton trying to get the rebound, missed it completely. It's not been cleared. Dawson plays it back in. O'Grady then gets it clear to Garathabal. Garathabal looked up before he collected the ball and then impeded as he tried to play on by Batistessa. You'd have to say that that was almost a professional foul, because it just stopped Fremantle Cockburn breaking up and going up the other end of the field at pace. Darren McCormick squeezed that through to Jazz Henry. Henry followed all the way, and down the line it will go. It went just a touch that time off the stick of Jeremy Pilati, so Chad Giles will get the ball from the side. Henry, that just caught his foot, and he was frustrated with himself because that was a great build-up. Now it's Wetton again, a little bit of space for him. Feeds it wide to Jonah Pilati. Pilati feeds it up the line on the right-hand side. Great run through the middle. Kai Stirrett was there. And they couldn't find him, but they've got another long corner. Jake Wetton over the ball. Short to Corey Weir, who'll look to slam it in. Good save, Ben Rennie. Solid save. And, well, unfortunately, it's hit Garathabal's foot. So it is another penalty corner for Victoria Park. 6 minutes left in the third quarter. No goals so far in this quarter. And just a reminder that if Victoria Park win today, it will be their 11th straight win since they lost in round 10 to YMCC. But it will also see them go top of the ladder with 1 game remaining. So this time lining up top of the circle is Kai Willett at the first battery, Corey Weir at the second. Whistle goes to Wetton. Willett flicks, good save Ben Rennie, kept it down as well. Good strong defence, and eventually the decision goes the way of the Magpies. And their support finds their voice. O'Grady taking his time. McCormick still getting rid of his protective gear behind the goal. Angwin brought that one down brilliantly on halfway. Garathabal feeding it through. He found Bird. Bird slipped as he got there, but he got the better of Dawson. Matt Bird trying to feed it through. Great block, top of the circle that time by Isaac Temby. Dawson now cuts infield away from Bird. Temby in space, helps it on, but he's given it to Chad Giles. Giles' touch, though, was a heavy one, and a chance to break forward again now for Skaney. Skaney feeding it forward to Willett. Willett got the better of no, he didn't. Brilliant tackle, Ben O'Grady. Well, Willett kept running. O'Grady came up with the ball. Now it's Hazel. And that is a super pass to Rhys Angwin. Great defence, though, from Corey Weir. Angwin inside the circle and went on the reverse stick, but just the radar was a little off. And there's a bit of banter going on between Corey Weir and Rhys Angwin. 4.5 minutes left till the final break. Fremantle Cockburn steal it back again, just inside their own half. Garathabal carries it forward. Temby loses his, Batistessa loses his stick. And it's going to be a long corner for Fremantle Cockburn. Can they find an equaliser before the final break? Jazz Henry over the ball. Batistessa fooled by his dummy. Chad Giles helps it forward to Hazel. And Temby just a little shove in the back of Hazel right on the edge of the circle. Hush comes over the crowd here at the Batto Turf in Lakelands. Hazel has to go the 5 metres, takes it out 5. Pursued all the way by Dawson. Temby, good stop by him, and then he clears it over the sideline. So Darren McCormick strolls to get the ball. It's just behind the light pole in front. Ben O'Grady, when he was asking a lot that time, Banyard tried to respond, but all he could do is push it over the side and throw him forward. And there's room now coming into the circle with Corey Weir. And a good save again by, well, in fact, it wasn't saved by Ben Rennie. It was straight into the sideboard. So O'Grady feeding it forward. Banyard again having a hustle because Batistessa put pressure on him. Chance to carry it forward again by Kai Stirrett. And back came Banyard, stole it off him. Banyard in the corner. Stirrett really being a pest. Banyard spins and gets the short pass to Harrison Keema. Keema looks to take on his opposite man, and the free hit goes the way of Fremantle Cockburn, much to the consternation of Victoria Park's players. O'Grady carrying it forward, followed all the way by Harley Muir. O'Grady keeps possession. He's gone one way, then the other. Left Muir in his wake. Also Kai Stirrett, but the ball's gone over the side now, and it's Victoria Park's ball with 2 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Dawson, centre of defence. Angwin ahead of him. Thought about going out to the right, pushes it then into space on the left-hand side. Harley Muir. Deven just pokes the ball over the sideline. Muir, well, he'll leave it now for Batistessa. Batistessa, and that's intercepted by McCormick. Kept it in play really well in the corner. Crothers was there. And it's still McCormick trying to get the bother. Over the side it goes, that time off the stick of Temby. Darryl McCormick goes back to O'Grady. Closing him down is Muir. Wide it goes now. Giles feeding it forward to Keema. Strong challenge by Jeremy Pilati. It was off his stick and over the side. We got an extra ball on the field of play again. So time will be eaten up as Chad Giles retrieves that one. Deven plays it out wide onto the right to Jazz Henry. Henry closed down by Dawson. A scything stick from him. Well, I think that's a fair call. Played on, and then the player standing over the ball, and Fremantle players getting a little bit frustrated that the umpires aren't stepping in. The whistle had gone. It was clearly a free hit against Victoria Park, and Dawson played on, and then just stood stopping them play on was Crothers. Deven, what a pass that is from Tim Deven. Banyard got there. Good tackle there by Temby inside the circle. We've got 15 seconds remaining. Chad Giles comes across, takes it quickly, needs to get it in the circle rapidly. Now it's O'Grady. Thought about lifting it. Instead, he's tried to fire. It's gone up off Wetton, but great defence as well by Victoria Park. Carried up to halfway. That was really intelligent play that time coming from Joel Crothers. And that is the end of the third quarter. No goals scored in that quarter, but again, the game is on a knife edge. As we head into the final break, it is Fremantle Cockburn 1, Victoria Park 2.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Square Resources, major sponsor of the Men's Premier 1 team and the 2025 scoreboard sponsor. Square Resources supply raw materials globally, critical to the development of nations worldwide. Square Resources are committed to giving back to the communities in which they live and work and are a proud sponsor of the Fremantle Cockburn Hockey Club.
The final words from the coaching staff and the senior players in this match. Are Fremantle Cockburn going to topple off the top of the league? They've been there a long, long time now, most of the season. After they beat YMCC here earlier in the season. Victoria Park, what a run they've come on. But you look at the quality of their squad, and it should come as no surprise. 15 minutes to go for Fremantle Cockburn to hang on to top spot on the league table with one round to go. Victoria Park, who've not been top all season, could snatch away the minor premiership right at the end. But I would advise you not to go anywhere, because this Fremantle Cockburn side has shown its mettle throughout the season, coming back from situations like this and managing to get an equaliser and sometimes even steal a victory. The big question is, can they do it in this game? Aaron Hazel over the ball as the sun starts to drop behind the grandstand. Over the top it goes, and they let it run, and a little groan coming that time as the ball just kicked off the turf, and Jack Scott didn't realise that Temby was going to let it run. Dawson scoops it up in the air. Garathabal lets it run. Trying to get on the end was Lawson Patton Williams, who's put plenty of running in today, Patton Williams. O'Grady to McCormick. McCormick goes square again to the big Irishman. Matt Bird is wide. O'Grady carries it forward. He's going to get closed down now. And did he find the foot? No. Well, Willett is getting the free hit off Matt Bird. Throws it diagonally across the field of play. Deven put his stick up. And it will be Fremantle Cockburn's ball down by the corner flag. McCormick carries it in. Feeds it to Deven. Most of the players have actually shifted. You can't see it in your shot, but have shifted across to the right-hand side of the post. Finally, a few have come back over to the right-hand side as Fremantle attack, but it's just, there was nobody in this side of the field for a second, and it was very condensed. Hazel pulls in. That's a good pass again to find Scott. Scott slips, though, and Dawson carries it out of the circle. He just pushed it wide and then got out there first. Wetton, one hand on his stick, gets it under control. Soft hands by him. Feeds it through the middle, and Rennie comes out. Kai Willett goes over the top of him, and you'd have to say that possibly that was, I think, dangerous play by Willett. He didn't need to go in for that because Rennie had already got the ball. Now, Willett is clearly in a bit of pain. Now, the umpires coming across to Kai Willett. Ben Rennie and Kai Willett shake hands, showing that there's no hard feeling between the two of them. But to me, Willett just, I'm not sure he needed to go into that, because Rennie had come out, got the ball cleanly, and then it seemed to be Willett came in after that. It's easy to say from up here, but when you're as good a player and you're playing at the level that Willett is an international player, usually you're able to pull out of challenges like that. And that is just my opinion, obviously, how I saw it from over here. Harrison Keema came that time off the foot of Kai Stirrett, so Garathabal thought about going wide to McCormick, short instead. Good turn from Keema, good steal in the middle of the midfield by Kai Stirrett, helping it forward. Skaney now, good run coming through, but that'll be picked up by McCormick, although he left it behind for a second. Darren McCormick was still going forward, and he gets the free hit. The time is going to be crucial for Fremantle Cockburn. They've got plenty of it left at the moment, but as the seconds tick by, it gets harder. Hazel. Into the circle it goes, and a touch just takes it over the side as it was going through to Rhys Angwin. Good work again by Pilati. Vital touch from him. Deflected towards the circle. Keema couldn't get it. Good work again by Wetton. Always got his head up looking what's available. Good lesson for any youngsters watching Jake Wetton. Garathabal steals it back. There was a hand in the back that time from Kai Willett. Short pass to Devon, up the line it goes. Jack Scott has turned Temby and then gets a free hit for his side. Devon takes it quickly. Temby will collect that. It was a deflection off the stick of Wetton. Jack Scott now drills it in, off the pads it comes, and Rhys Angwin was trying to get a touch in front of the goalkeeper, Mitch Nicholson. And it's going to be a free hit, this time going against Aaron Hazel. Corey Weir just carries the ball out while Hazel is behind him complaining to the umpire. Weir very nearly played that straight to Aaron Hazel. Isaac Temby goes back to Dawson. Hazel again working hard defensively in the forward line. Corey Weir, a bit of space for him as Scott closes him down. Should be intercepted by McCormick, stolen away by Jason Gabriel, who's just come on. He plays it out wide. That looked like a backstick to me. O'Grady gets the ball out to Harrison Keema. Keema looks to take on Temby. Temby shifted his feet well. Aaron Hazel now looks to take on Dawson. Dawson sticks with him like his shadow. Was there a bump there? Yes, says the umpire. Dawson smiles a wry smile. Certainly no choir boy, Matt Dawson. He wouldn't have got away with that one in church. That's another free hit to Fremantle Cockburn. We've got 9.5 minutes remaining. Fremantle Cockburn trying to find an equaliser to hang on to top spot going into the final round. Oh, turned over. Wetton again takes his time, finds Willett. Willett, good run from him on the angle this time. O'Grady goes with him. O'Grady reaches across Willett again. Willett now, and O'Grady steps forward. That's a very good tackle. And again, running across the line of Devon, and it will be a free hit. So O'Grady now has a green card for reaching across Kai Willett. Well, you would have thought if he defended, then he should have blown it earlier, because the turnover then went to Fremantle Cockburn by a good tackle by Ben O'Grady. So if I was Victoria Park, I'd be a little bit miffed by that one. Now it's again a foul in the back of Tim Devon. Lawson Patton Williams shakes his head, but that was just the experience of Devon. Chad Giles. It's going to be Fremantle Cockburn's ball, not from the side. It's a free hit on the 23-metre line. Tim Devon says, I will take it. Drills it in, and Banyard just getting in the way of Jack Scott. The communication between those two not working as well as you would have hoped. It's going to have to come back. The time, though, is wasted here. So now we need the ball from the side, which has just been taken off, to come back on. Eventually it comes to Dawson. Time that is crucial to Fremantle Cockburn. Just being eaten up here. And that was, it's going to be about 20 seconds from when the free hit was awarded and Dawson actually got to take it. Batistessa feeds it wide now to Pilati. Pilati pirouettes and tries to get the better of Scott. Goes back down the outside. Gets over the 23. Plays it into the circle, towards the circle. It was good work by Patton Williams, but equally good from McCormick, who plays on quickly. And then, well, I think McCormick thought he was going to get a free hit. Jazz Henry carries it forward, drops it back to Devon. Devon tries to feed it through the middle. The ricochet is a nice one that time off the stick of Jeremy Pilati, but Dawson steps across, cleans up again and finds Wetton in acres of space. This is dangerous now for Fremantle Cockburn, but played again with the back of the reverse stick, and it's caught Garathabal as he's running back on his heel. Fremantle Cockburn not happy with that decision either. They, I think, felt it was either a back stick or it was in fact dangerous, but not sure that it was. Dawson. Wetton inside the circle trying to turn and played onto his foot. Wetton now is looking quizzically at the umpire, shaking his head in disbelief. Well, they're all not happy with the decisions at the moment, as you'd expect with 6.5 minutes left. Fremantle Cockburn looking for an equaliser. Went up off the stick of the Victoria Park player, Weir. Infield he goes. Dawson got there, but Wetton steals the ball away. O'Grady, it's hit his foot on the 23. Devon not happy. Wetton again, good block by Jazz Henry. Wetton steals it to get away from O'Grady. O'Grady steals it back. Wonderful recovery, and then Batistessa penalised as he stole it illegally from Garathabal. Not sure that was where the free hit should have been taken from, but then Aaron Hazel, trying to get on with things, has just taken it over the side. Dawson goes infield once more. Kai Stirrett feeds it straight through the middle to Wetton. Wetton given time to go back and turn back to Kai Stirrett. Knocked it round Devon. Good save, Ben Rennie. And Devon trying to get that. There was a little miscommunication between him and Banyard. Now it's Jake Wetton again. Will he play it into the circle? He does. Short pass is a good one. And Kai Stirrett played it in. It's gone off the pads of Ben Rennie. We're approaching the final 5 minutes of this match. At the start of the game, Fremantle Cockburn were top of the league ladder with 1 game to go. 1 point ahead of Victoria Park. So Victoria Park, if they can hang on, will go 2 points clear at the top with 1 game to go. O'Grady steals the ball again. Forced into the corner. It was good defensive work from James Collins. In fact, I think it was Skaney, my apologies. And Banyard just lost it for a second at the edge of the circle. Garathabal wanted to get on with it quickly, but he's let the ball run far too far. It wasn't on the 16 line. And that's just time that really Fremantle Cockburn can't waste. Coming up to 4.5 minutes left. Garathabal. Batistessa tried to close him down. He spun away. Batistessa reached across him, impeded him, and takes a little touch. Chad Giles will let that one run over the side. Giles feeds it forward now. Harrison Keema. Temby got a touch. Keema pulled it down as it ricocheted up. Dawson goes chasing back. Combines with Temby. Temby carrying it out now. Faced with Jazz Henry, has to go back to Dawson on the baseline. Dawson couldn't go right. Then reverse sticks it to Batistessa. Thrown in the air. Kai Willett brings it down well on halfway. Oh, tried to lift it. Deven got it. Jazz Henry now. He's going to get closed down. Batistessa with there. Deven, great pass back to Henry. Henry advancing now at the top of the circle. Coming back was Willett. Fed into the circle, and oh, dear me. Harrison Keema so close. He hasn't got any goal. He's only got the one goal this season, Harrison Keema. And there was a chance really to write his name, not only in the headlines, but possibly in the history books for Fremantle Cockburn. They have just over 3 minutes left to find a goal now. Trying to steal it in the midfield is Bird. Kai Willett gets that strong again from O'Grady. Willett now pleading for a decision to go his way. O'Grady gets the pass, feeds it forward to Hazel rather. Weir, a little shove in the back on Aaron Hazel. Umpire missed it. It was a little short arm push from Corey Weir just to throw Hazel off balance. Did the job. Now it's Willett trying to get there ahead of Henry. Sliding. Henry's taken the ball away. Tight down the side. Darryl McCormick going to go back to the defensive line and Chad Giles. Harrison Keema pulls wide. Cuts infield away from Temby. Temby's chasing after him. And again, nothing going. Well, eventually the other umpires spotted it. And Fremantle fans were absolutely fuming, but it's a mistrap by Aaron Hazel with just under 2.5 left in the game. Corey Weir throws it high and long. Wetton is there trying to jump with Garathabal. Wetton can't complain because he wasn't stationary underneath the ball. If he wanted the free hit, he had to be static. It's going to be a Fremantle Cockburn free hit. Played to Deven. Can he craft something? Chad Giles drops it back. Darryl McCormick. We're under 2 minutes left. Skaney almost pushing McCormick into the turf. Garathabal has to cut infield. Wetton again just reaching, although it's a free hit going the way of Garathabal. He feeds it to Hazel. Back to Garathabal, and he's missed it. It's gone out of play. Garathabal looks up to the night sky. 1.5 minutes left. Well, Victoria Park, what a run they've been on. Pilati desperately trying to get on the end of that was Harrison Keema, but he couldn't. Willett turns his back into O'Grady. Willett again firing that one down the side. McCormick stolen it back for Fremantle Cockburn. Deven now tries to get it to Harrison Banyard. Banyard takes on Wetton. Banyard's quick too. Temby got an important touch. Aaron Hazel now cuts inside him, tries to get inside Wetton. Wetton gets the free hit as Deven tried to play on. We're into the final 30 seconds. Corey Weir will eat up probably a good 5 or 6 of those. And he flicks it out wide. Matt Bird jumps to try and get there, but he couldn't. Darryl McCormick will get it. It's gone over the side, but they're running out of time. 20 seconds left. Up the sideline it goes, and over the side it goes off the stick of Jonah Pilati. They need a penalty corner. Harrison Keema. And a penalty corner has been won. Well, there you go. Harrison Keema tried to play on quickly, and we saw a professional foul. Well, we have 7 seconds remaining on the scoreboard. I can tell you it reads 007 at the moment, and I'm just wondering if it's going to be a James Bond moment where he gets out of an impossible situation, and Fremantle Cockburn managed to get out of an impossible situation and get a draw from this match. Well, they've got everybody forward except for Ben Rennie, as you would expect. The big question is, can they find a goal right now at the death? Rhys Angwin goes to the baseline. It is going to be all about the injection. Ben O'Grady lines up at the second battery. He looks purposeful. Aaron Hazel is at the first. I think he's a bit miffed. It's not going to go to him by the looks of things, or that might be a total bluff. But O'Grady looks focused. Hazel looks a little bit more relaxed. He now gets into focus mode. All eyes on the pitch. It goes to Hazel. Hazel flicks. It's there! there. Fremantle Cockburn have rescued their season. Aaron Hazel has scored probably the most important goal of the season, and he keeps his tally of scoring in 6 consecutive games against Victoria Park. Well, what a match we've just witnessed. And will that be the goal that sees them win the minor premiership? I told you this team was special, and they somehow managed to get out of jail. Aaron Hazel take a bow. Pressure was on him. I think everybody thought it was going to Ben O'Grady, but it was Hazel, and he delivered. And the final score here is Fremantle Cockburn 2, Victoria Park 2. Make sure you tune in next week when they take on Reds.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Square Resources, major sponsor of the Men's Premier 1 team and the 2025 scoreboard sponsor. Square Resources supply raw materials globally, critical to the development of nations worldwide. Square Resources are committed to giving back to the communities in which they live and work, and are a proud